the Bills fired head coach Sean McDermott on Monday after 9 years in Buffalo, 8 of which McDermott led the Bills to the postseason, but of course never reached the Super Bowl. The change comes just 2 days after the Bills lost to the Broncos in overtime, which of course ended their season in the divisional round of the playoffs. Meanwhile, Adam Schefter is reporting that the Bills have requested to interview Brian Daboll for their head coaching vacancy. Now, despite throwing 3 touchdowns against the Broncos on Saturday, Josh Allen committed 4 turnovers, tied for the most in any game in his career. Allen became the first player with 2 interceptions, 2 lost fumbles in a playoff game since Carson Palmer did it in the 2015 NFC Championship. Look, this coaching hire is very paramount for what happens with Josh Allen in his future. A lot of people believe, like myself, a big reason why Sean McDermott was fired was because they never actually reached a Super Bowl. But let's focus in on the quarterback here. How much criticism does Josh Allen deserve after this fallout?
Well, first off, you can't give him the 2 interceptions because the other second interception, freaking Cooks rolled over and the other guy came up with the football. So right out of the gate, that turnover scenario is a little misleading. Because that second one was not his fault.
No, that's not a good ball. He's got to lead that ball.
Oh, nonsense. Catch the football. He had it in his hands. Oh, you're nuts.
No,
you are crazy.
And it's an interception. You're wrong on both counts.
You're nuts. No way. Allen's taking way too much abuse here. Here's what I'm going to tell people as a sports fan. At 27-23, late with 2:38 to go in the game, on 3rd and 11, was anybody thinking when Denver had the ball, was anybody thinking about the turnover at the end of the first half? I certainly wasn't, because if they stop him on 3rd and 11, Peyton punts, and they're going to win the game 27-23. So on 3rd and 11, when he found Sutton for 26 yards, wide open, a horrendous job by the defensive secondary. You can't give him that play. That game was over. Plus, how about an overtime? You're telling me Hardeman can't catch that ball in overtime? When he dropped it on 2nd and 10 right in his hands, he catches the football, Buffalo wins the game. They would have had a first down at the Denver 40-yard line. And then you bring in Cooks, who you're now blaming for the fact it's a bad throw. Jeff, calm down. Cooks has got the football.
So wait a minute. You're saying Josh Allen does not deserve all the criticism he's getting from all this fallout?
Definitely not. Oh, my God, no. How does he do? They scored 27 points in the game. He threw 3 touchdown passes.
Who are you?
27-23, Jeff.
Easy. You are the Josh Allen apologist. Listen, if you get all the credit as a quarterback, you got to take the blame.
Some of it.
Hey, that play at the end of the first half, you cannot, as what Josh Allen is expected to do, you know you have no margin for error on the defense. You know you don't have receivers. That's Brandon Beane's fault. That Hardeman and whoever, that's all on them. They could have went out and got receivers that were better than what they had. But Josh Allen played poorly in this game. And does he give you enough plays to possibly win? Sure. But so C.J. Stroud's team was in the game. And you still got to give him credit for or give him responsibility for playing poorly. Like Josh Allen, you can't turn the ball. You don't have enough margin for error.
They had a 27-23 lead with 2:38 to go in the game on 3rd and 11. Make a stop.
No. You lost it.
Get in on this. Do you think Josh Allen deserves some of the criticism he's getting from this fallout?
He deserves some of the blame because you've got to play. You know that your back is against the wall. Or you're bereft of the level of talent that you once had with the Stephon Diggs of the world and others.
Yeah.
And you've got to play a near-perfect game in order to beat the #1 seed in the AFC. But I agree mostly with Doggy. I'm very disappointed that Sergeant Friday has me agreeing with Doggy this early in the show. That's something I'm allergic to doing.
No, you're
but I have to agree. I have to agree with Doggy in this one. You had a 27-23 lead. With 2 minutes left. I mean, listen, that's your game to lose if you're the Buffalo Bills. Okay, now, obviously, it would have been nice if he didn't have those turnovers. That interception that Cooks had in his hand, that was in his hands, Jeff. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't let the corner come in and take it out of your hands. It was in your hands. Josh Allen's job is to put the ball in the hands of his receivers. It ain't his job to hold on to it for him. All right, that's on Cooks more so than Josh Allen. He put it right there. It's right there in his hands.
That ball is
it's right there in his hand.
Oh, my God.
Look at the play. Look at the play, Jeff. I don't understand. Listen. I know my sister Carmen. Hold on. I know my sister Carmen is watching, and she loves old blue eyes. Right? This is the problem with blue eyes. This is the problem with the blue eyes of Jeff Saturday. It's impaired, okay? The ball is in the hands of the receiver. Cooks has it, all right? Your running back that's being a wideout, it's in his hands.
It's in the DB's hands too, S.A.
Listen, no. The point is that it's your job to hold it. It's Allen's job to get the ball to him. It's his job to hold on to the ball once he has it in his hands. I can't put that on Allen. I can put the turnover at the end of the first half on him. I can certainly say he didn't play a flawless game. But I also got to primarily agree with Doggy. You got a 27-23 lead. You're going up against the number 1 seed, got 68 sacks on the season, 4 shy of the all-time record, 14 better than anybody else in the National Football League, who were expected to hunt and literally terrorize you all afternoon long. And you are in a position to win the game courtesy of putting up 27 points. They ain't up 7-3. They ain't up 10-7. 27 points the Buffalo Bills put up and couldn't stave off the Denver Broncos. Yes, Allen was not perfect. He deserves some of the blame, but certainly not as much as people are willing to give him.
Good job, Stephen.
Oh, my word.
Oh, you shut him up right away.
No, I thought you were going to talk. I thought you were going to applaud your boy for backing you up right now.
Good job. You are lost. I'm shocked. No. It's 27. Can you roll the play on 3rd and 11, please? Sam, do something in there today for a second. Can you roll the play on 3rd and 11, which Stevie was referring to at the end of regulation?
Listen to me.
Take a look at this play.
Oh, my word.
It was wide open for crying out loud. How do you not give the defense blame on that?
I do give the defense blame, but the defense was not what you're writing. You are not riding this defense into the playoffs. You understand you're going to have to outscore. You're not going to shut down Bo Nix. You're not going to shut down the Denver. They played as well as they could. The week before in Jacksonville, everybody's like, oh, the defense played. They didn't play good there either. They got away with some stuff. Lawrence made some mistakes. Same thing with Nix. This was not a defense you knew you could depend on and lean on. Just be real about what your team is.
One play, Jeff.
It's situational.
It's 3rd and 11. It's one play. Make sure he doesn't get the first down.
Word, dude. That's all football. It's one play here and there. There's 5 plays a game that decide them.
Hold on.
You don't know which ones they are.
Listen. Your argument would be better served, Jeff, if it was from a macro perspective. Josh Allen committed 4 turnovers on Saturday. Coming into that, his previous 6 playoff games, he didn't commit 1.
Right.
Okay, so obviously that's a glaring discrepancy. No turnovers in your previous 6 playoff games, and then you show up here and commit 4 turnovers on Saturday at the Mile High City against the number 1 seed. Certainly, if you came from that perspective, I get where you're coming from. But when you compartmentalize and pick apart plays the way that Doggy did, Doggy's points are more valid here. You got Cooks, you got to hold on to that ball. You got a 27-23 lead. Your defense got to make a stop. No. You can't make a stop on a 3rd and 11. You got a berth to the AFC Championship game on the line. Stop some damn body.
No.
You got to be able to do something like that. That's not on Josh Allen.
No. Y'all cherry pick. You and Doug are cherry picking plays and opportunities and situations. When you look at a football game in totality.
Ain't that what you do?
When you look at this, I'm saying Josh Allen, you just said it best. Josh Allen can't turn the ball over 4 times. You can't. You don't have the margin for error of a Buffalo Bills team to tolerate 4 turnovers from your best player. That's the bottom line. Your best player at that moment has to play the best.
Oh, God.
And that's just the fact.
I'm sick, Jeff.
Oh, my God.
Jeff, I'm sick.
Oh, my word. You're
Jeff,
from the world of basketball.
You don't know what I'm going to say.
Oh.
You don't know what I'm going to say. I just got a text from Carmen.
Yes.
You leave my blue-eyed buddy alone. Jeff Saturday is the greatest. Leave him alone. This is pathetic. This is pathetic right here.
He knows right is right.
You got to get family siding with you. It ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. No, Carmen, I'm not listening to you.
Carmen, talk some sense into your brother.
Because Jeff is wrong this morning. You started off the show wrong, Sergeant Friday.
Okay, let me add on to this really quick. Bills owner Terry Pegula just spoke to the media, and he said this: my decision to move on at the head coach position was based on the results in Denver. He cited the devastation in the locker room and the tears shed by one Josh Allen. So that was the big reason why they decided to make a coaching change.
Yeah.
Yes.
Josh Allen's crying because
Can you tell that? Can you repeat that?
Too.
No. The audience needs to absorb what we just heard from Shae, because an owner making a decision based on not the 8 or 9 years McDermott has been there, not the 7 consecutive years he's gotten them to the playoffs, not the 73% of his games that he's won over the last 6 years, which is more than anybody in the National Football League. He made this decision, they made this decision rather, based on this past Saturday. And what exactly did they say, Shae? Can you repeat that, please?
Based on the results in Denver, he cited the devastation in the locker room and the tears shed by their quarterback, Josh Allen. It sounds like very much so based, I don't want to say solely based, very much so based on the results that came Saturday night in Denver. I don't know if that only comes down to quarterback play.
A Buffalo Bills team where your GM, who you promoted to the presidency, by the way, didn't go out and get Jalen Waddle or a wideout, an additional weapon for Josh Allen. You still won 12 games. You went to the postseason. You knocked off the number 3 seed in the AFC in Jacksonville on the road, okay? And then you go to Denver against the number 1 seed, and you've got a 27-23 lead. You put up 30. You lose in overtime. And because of that, you fire the head coach.
Correct.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I totally
That's
agree.
unbelievable.
That's a joke. And
That's
I'll tell you
unbelievable.
How does he get fired and not Bean?
Oh,
what
absolutely.
a joke. Bean
It's a
gave him
joke.
Keenan Coleman a number 1 pick. How about getting a kid from the Saints who goes to Seattle,
Right.
returns punts, makes all sorts of plays, Shaheed? They couldn't have used him middle of the year.
They had
Stevie
Waddle.
just brought up
Yeah.
Waddle. 100%. The defense stinks. And then he's going to bring Brian Dable in, who the New York fan couldn't get him out of here quick enough.
Hold on.
In the middle of the year.
Hold on.
That's a joke.
Hold on. I agree with everything, Dougie. I've been saying this for the last couple of days. There's no excuse for Bean. Listen, my attitude is this. I'm not looking at Bean and saying he's awful and that he needs to get fired. What I'm saying is if McDermott goes, you go.
Yeah.
If
Absolutely.
McDermott
I
stays,
agree.
you stay.
I agree.
It shouldn't be the coach being gone, but
That's
him
it.
not only staying, but getting promoted. But
Absolutely.
I will say this. I'm not going to throw shade on Brian Dable. He was a coach of the year now. He was a coach of the year. The man is familiar with Josh Allen. That's how he got the head coaching job to begin with. Me personally, if you said Joe Brady deserves it more than him, I wouldn't argue with that. But let's not act like Brian Dable can't coach. I mean, the man has had some good moments, especially when he was the OC in Buffalo. We gotta respect that man.
Yeah.
We gotta respect that man.
Here is my issue with any coach coming into Buffalo at this point. Is you have a coach in McDermott that is winning playoff games every year, pretty much, right? Been to the AFC Championship game twice.
8 playoff wins.
Right, 8 playoff wins. I think other than Mahomes, Allen has the most playoff wins by a margin, right? By a margin. And so as you look at this guy knows how to win playoffs games. They just win one on the road. They do all these things. They're checking all these boxes. You are literally firing him, and the only person who can take you is to win a Super Bowl or to go. You got to get to the Super Bowl. Who is going to walk in this with this roster? Who of all the coaches you're hiring that Bean put on the field, which coach would have taken them to the Super Bowl? Not one.
100%.
Not one.
I gotta tell you
so
this.
you can't fire a
Maybe
guy.
he feels if you have Dable back, because Dable and Josh Allen had such a good relationship.
But
That's
Brady-
really where he grew the most. Maybe he feels like with
Brady's
Dable
got a
there
good
in
one
some
with him too, Shae.
capacity.
And that's the
Sure, but
point.
he-
Brady did a great job
But
with
he was doing this, and it feels like he's done this now with Brady.
Well, I got to tell y'all this. If I'm McDermott, I want the Baltimore Ravens job.
Ooh.
I mean, let me tell you something right now. Listen, Lamar Jackson, I mean, they act like they're ready to erect a statue for John Harbaugh in New York. The man won 3 playoff games in 8 years.
Right.
The Buffalo Bills won 8. You know, listen, if I'm Baltimore, I'm rooting for Raheem Morris because I think Raheem Morris will cultivate a relationship with Lamar Jackson. He's never had a quarterback before, and I hope he gets it. But if not him, I wouldn't mind seeing McDermott go from Buffalo to Baltimore. Okay. And let's see what he does because I don't think he deserved to be fired at all. No. I really don't.
I don't
We
agree.
agree.
It's ridiculous. Here's the thing.
Last
too.
word.
The ridiculous part is that that they assign this to one loss. That is absurd. Like you're talking about a guy who you didn't win a playoff game for 17 years. This guy has taken you to the AFC Championship game twice and the playoffs dang near every year, and you're going to fire him over one season, one game of one season where your quarterback that you guys think are absolved doesn't play his best game? That's a freaking joke,
I didn't say
bro.
he's absolved. I
Yeah.
said there are other people to blame game and I agree with Steve on Dable. I agree with Steve. Let me just clarify Dable because Steve caught me on it. He's right. I think Dable's okay, but if I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, let me get this straight. I'm firing McDermott to bring Brian Dable here, who in his last 2 years with the Giants won 6 games, blew lead after lead after lead. I can't do that. I got to get somebody else in. I don't care what he did with Josh Allen. And the other thing that's fair. Now listen, I didn't know this. Steve is on the channel, so he may have heard it because he listens like you don't. But I had Vic Carucci on yesterday, and Vic Carucci's been covering NFL Network. He's a big football guy.
I know who he is. Thanks for telling me.
I wasn't sure. He doesn't cover hockey. He covers he doesn't cover the Sabres. He said that 5 weeks ago that they had a team meeting, and that McDermott went in there and told the owner and the GM, I don't have a Super Bowl roster.
They didn't like it.
And so as a result, that may have said, all right, you don't like the roster, get the hell out of here. We'll get somebody else. So maybe that was shifted from a long time ago.
Well, let's stay. Hold on. Let's stay right there. He doesn't have a Super Bowl roster. The likelihood is that he said that to them because they were attaching Super Bowl expectations to him.
Exactly.
Based on a job that they believe Bean did. Now, anybody who knows football, and I'm deferring to all the football minds that we have, that we're blessed to have at our network here, there is no one that looked at the Buffalo Bills and said they got what it takes over an abundance of teams in the AFC, because we saw very early on that wasn't the case. So by that, combined with Bean being promoted to the presidency on the day that McDermott was fired, clearly Bean probably was offended that McDermott did that, because that was an indictment against Bean. 100%. And Bean is like, the hell with that. I'm going to get somebody up in here, which means it was more personal, because how dare you go in there and call me out? He's not thinking about the fact that you call McDermott out by putting him in a position where there's Super Bowl expectations based on a roster you accumulated that you know good and damn well wasn't Super Bowl ready. So you're not going to hold yourself accountable. You're going to hold the coach accountable. The stupidity of ownership here, and I'm not calling them stupid, I'm calling their statement stupid, is that they attached it to one game. If you simply had stated, we came into this season with Super Bowl expectations. If not, we anticipated making changes. We let McDermott know that. And now that it hasn't happened, we move forward. That would make more sense. But to act like this one game that occurred Saturday, in which the number 1 seed on its home turf beats you and takes overtime to do it, and that is what cost a guy that's been to the playoffs 8 of his 9 years and the last 7 consecutive years, and has won the 2 AFC championship games and has the best record in football in the regular season over the last 6 years. That warrants a dismissal is asinine. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we agree.
Agreed.